More tragic details surrounding the sudden death of Stephen Twitch Boss. The Los Angeles medical examiner confirmed he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. TMZ is reporting that he left his house on Monday morning and checked into a nearby hotel. His wife, Allison, reported him missing to police on Tuesday and said he wasn't returning any of her calls. She also said that there were no argument or issues when he left the house. Tributes are also pouring in from stars close to the DJ and dancer. Jennifer Lopez tweeted, "Twitch was such a light and a beautiful soul, shocked and deeply saddened. My heart breaks for Twitch, his wife and children." Channing Tatum posted this selfie of the two on Instagram, writing, "I love you. I'll see you again, my friend, until then." And The Rock also sent his family love and light and said he's lost a lot of friends to the struggle, and you never know what's happening between the ears. Wow. And, you know, I learned yesterday when I was just watching video after video after video of Twitch, that he follows you, Al. He doesn't follow very many people, but he obviously was a fan of your comedy, because I had asked you if you guys had met, and you said no. But did that impact you, learning that he was a fan of yours?
It really did. And you know, I've been thinking about him a lot, just because he brought up some feelings I'm still dealing with in terms of like the loss of my buddy Kevin Barnett, who he actually passed away, I think it was season 2 on this show, back when you could still be in the cafeteria around the corner. And that's when I found out, and I feel like I didn't recover from that for a year. And Kevin was a lot like Twitch, it seems like. Like, there's famous people we talk about all the time. There's a lot of famous people, but there's some people that are famous to the people that they're around because of who they are. And that's why it's such a monumental loss. And people aren't just giving the thoughts and prayers tweet. It's really like something is gone from my life that'll never return. And you can feel it in these heartfelt, compassionate, you know, just odes to who he was as a person. So this hit me doubly hard, and then when I heard that he followed me, I was honored and just as sad as you possibly could be.
Yeah. Twitch, I think Twitch affected us all more than I think we all thought. It hit everybody in the studio. I could definitely feel it. And I just want to say, as someone who comes off very bubbly and who has been extremely depressed, you can put up, it's sometimes easier to put up a fake front than actually go for help, because that's what I did. He's a performer, a dancer. He can do this, right? But underneath, the lows are so low that it's almost easier to front than actually get help. So please check on the people you don't even think have a crack in them.
We also have institutional systems here in our country that lead to, there's no surprise why we're the leading cause of suicide, why teens here in Colorado, it's the #1 cause of death. We have to look into why our country is so susceptible to mental health issues as opposed to other countries. And I guarantee you, if we fix that systemically, I do think that we can curb that horrific statistic that affects us disproportionately.
And it's getting worse, you're right. Unless we do something now, it's just become worse and worse and worse.
Well, people can barely put food on their table. We do have a doctor joining us, Dr. Jeff, and we want to continue the discussion with him. He's a psychologist and an author. So Dr. Jeff Gardere, welcome to DBL. So many questions.
Yes, Dr. Gardere, thank you for being here. We were all so shocked to hear of Twitch's death. What was your first reaction when you heard the news?
Well, my very first reaction was, this is someone who we see as this happy-go-lucky person and, you know, dancing and having a good time, and has this persona of being an extremely joyous personality. And then the shock of realizing that maybe he wasn't as happy as perhaps we thought he might have been. And certainly what it tells us is that depression does not, if there is a depression going on, it doesn't have a particular face, that we shouldn't judge people on just what we see. There's so much more that can be going on inside in their lives.
Dr. Jeff, we need to ask, how common is it for people to project happiness and joy on the outside, but they're still really struggling on the inside?
Well, it is somewhat common. We know of many celebrities, for example, who have committed suicide, and we hear the same thing over and over, right? Oh, well, you know, this was a shock. This was a surprise. How could this possibly be? The person was doing so well. They had all this money. They had all this fame, and was still failing to learn the lesson that money, fame, all of these exterior things that we see are not the full picture of who a person is, that we all have our cross to bear, that we all are dealing with a lot of mental health challenges, not necessarily problems, but challenges. And when we are overwhelmed, when we are not diagnosed, when we're not getting the treatment that we need, that it can go to a very dark place.
Doc, I'm so glad you said that because that pertains to my question. Speaking about being under or undiagnosed, how do we get men of color, like myself, like a lot of my friends, to be more comfortable asking for help with mental health issues, because there's still obviously that stigma even in 2022?
That's right, and it's a great question. And it's a very important question in that we see that the rates of suicide and suicidal ideation are skyrocketing in the Black community, and especially with Black males. So it is important that people like you and I, for example, serve as role models to the Black community, that we be able to admit, and I talk about it all the time, I have hypochondriasis, unreasonable fear of illness, I have generalized anxiety disorder. I've been dealing with that my whole life. But to be role models and say, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to not do something about it. And therefore, when we are able to say you are not alone in your mental health struggles, that you can be able to get the treatment, that you can have a productive life, there are things out there. There are options. There is another way out through productivity, that, in fact, it is all right and that you should talk about it. And the more we talk about it, the more we do, the easier that it is. And you know one thing, that this particular generation, they are talking about mental health.
Yeah.
They
Absolutely. I have kids in this generation, and
It's different.
The fact that they even know what the phrase mental health means, and not only that they talk to each other about it, is really heartwarming, and that's what gives me hope for the future. 15 and 13-year-olds are talking about mental health and supporting their friends, and I was just like, where are we playing pickup hoops? So it's a big jump. So that is something to be happy for.
It's getting through.
And just, Dr. Jeff, I just want to end on this note, because something you said was really powerful, that treatment works. I just want to echo that sentiment. I'm on treatment. I've been on treatment since postpartum depression. It saved my life. So to any of our viewers, to your point, Dr. Jeff, watching and feeling like that you can't see the light again, treatment works.
Yes.
Treatment works. You are not alone. So if you or anyone you know might be struggling, also work at I just want to plug his website as well. So work at drjeffgardier.com. Is that correct? If someone can let me know?
Yes. That's
okay,
correct.
perfect.
That's correct.
Thank you. Because I want people